Imagine designing something to save lives underwater and ending up being the one it couldn't save. In the early 20th century, engineers raced to build the safest vessels ever made. One of them, Thomas Andrews, a brilliant shipbuilder, believed he'd done it. His creation was called the Titanic, the unsinkable ship that would redefine safety at sea. But when the unthinkable happened, Andrews refused to flee. Witnesses said he stayed inside, checking cabins, helping passengers escape, until the water reached him. The man who built the safest ship in history drowned inside it. From that night on, every revolutionary design faced one brutal question: are you sure it's really safe? Up next, another invention that was supposed to heal, but instead poisoned hundreds. In 1937, doctors finally thought they had a miracle drug, a sweet-tasting liquid that could kill deadly infections. The company called it elixir sulfanilamide. They mixed the antibiotic with a new solvent to make it easier to drink, diethylene glycol. What they didn't know was that this solvent was also used in antifreeze. Within weeks, children and adults across America began dying in agony. Over 100 deaths. No warnings. No regulations. But this tragedy forced a turning point. Congress passed the 1938 Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, requiring all medicines to be tested for safety. A law written in grief, paid for with lives. And the next invention? It was meant to protect people too, but instead, it killed them by the thousands. January 3rd, 1961, Idaho, USA. Inside a small Army research station stood the SL-1 nuclear reactor, designed to power remote bases safely and efficiently. It was so small, the military called it foolproof. But on that winter night, one wrong move changed everything. During maintenance, a control rod was pulled too far, just 50 centimeters, and in a single instant, the core went critical. The explosion was so violent it threw the entire reactor vessel 9 feet into the air. 3 operators were killed instantly. One of them was literally pinned to the ceiling by control rod. The foolproof design had proven fatal. After SL-1, no reactor would ever again rely on a single human action to stay safe. And next, an invention that soared through the skies until one spark brought it crashing down in flames. Before airplanes ruled the skies, there was something grander. Floating palaces of silver, cruising silently above the clouds. They were called airships, and none was more majestic than the Hindenburg, a German engineering marvel filled with luxury cabins, dining halls, even smoking rooms. But on May 6th, 1937, as it prepared to land in New Jersey, a single spark ignited the hydrogen inside. In less than a minute, the entire ship became a fireball. 36 people died, and the radio reporter's voice, oh, the humanity, echoed across the world. The dream of airships died that day. Hydrogen was banned, and aviation turned to airplanes forever. But our next story? The explosion didn't happen in the sky. It happened right under the inventor's feet. When it launched in 2001, the Segway was supposed to change cities forever. Clean, quiet, perfectly balanced. The future of personal transport. Investors called it the next internet. Governments planned to redesign sidewalks for it. But in 2010, tragedy struck. Jimmy Heselden, a British millionaire who owned the Segway company, lost control of his device during a test ride and fell off a cliff into a river. The story spread like wildfire. The man who built the world's safest ride died riding it. Overnight, Segway went from a tech miracle to a punchline. Sales crashed. The company shut down by 2020. And next, the invention that was supposed to save sailors at sea, but instead dragged hundreds of them to their deaths. April 10th, 1912. The Titanic set sail, the largest, most advanced ship ever built. Engineers called it unsinkable. Its secret? A network of watertight compartments designed to seal off flooding. On paper, nothing could go wrong. But nature had other plans. 4 days later, the Titanic struck an iceberg off the coast of Newfoundland. The collision ripped open 5 compartments, one more than the ship's design could handle. In less than 3 hours, the unsinkable giant vanished beneath the Atlantic, taking over 1,500 lives. The disaster changed maritime law forever. Mandatory lifeboats, 24-hour iceberg patrols, global safety codes. Human pride met cold reality and lost. And next, the invention everyone trusted for safety until it started exploding in people's hands. It was supposed to be your car's last line of defense, the thing that saves your life in a crash. Airbags. For decades, they did save millions, until one company's shortcut turned them into weapons. In the early 2000s, Takata Corporation, one of the world's largest airbag suppliers, began using a cheaper chemical propellant. It worked until humidity made it unstable. The result? When airbags deployed, they sometimes exploded like grenades, firing metal shards into drivers' faces and necks. Dozens were killed, hundreds injured. The recall became the largest in automotive history. Over 67 million airbags worldwide. The lesson? Even safety can kill if profit comes first. And next, a medical breakthrough that promised freedom from pain, but brought addiction and ruin instead. In the early 1970s, Ford had a dream: build a small, affordable car for everyone. The result was the Ford Pinto, light, fast, and cheap to produce. But there was a fatal flaw. The fuel tank sat just behind the rear bumper. A minor collision could rupture it, turning the car into a fireball. Ford's engineers discovered the issue during testing. They proposed a fix, a simple metal shield costing less than $10 per car. Executives refused. Their internal memo concluded it was cheaper to pay settlements than to redesign the vehicle. Dozens died. When the truth came out, the Pinto became a symbol of corporate arrogance. New safety laws followed, and the world learned the price of cutting corners. Next, a miracle medicine that promised relief and unleashed an epidemic. In the late 1950s, doctors hailed a new wonder drug, thalidomide. It was safe, they said, non-addictive, effective against insomnia and morning sickness. The company launched it across Europe and beyond. No prescription needed, no animal testing required. Then, the babies started coming. Thousands were born with missing limbs, deformed organs, and shortened lives. Entire hospitals filled with infants who would never walk or hold a toy. In the United States, one woman, Dr. Frances Kelsey of the FDA, refused to approve the drug without further testing. Her caution saved a generation. The disaster reshaped global medicine, birthing the modern era of clinical trials and drug regulation. And finally, the invention meant to end all wars. That nearly ended us instead. August 6th, 1945. The world split in two, before and after. The atomic bomb was the ultimate invention of science and desperation. Born in secrecy under the Manhattan Project, meant to end World War II once and for all. When the first bomb fell on Hiroshima, the city vanished in a blinding flash. Tens of thousands died instantly. Tens of thousands more in the weeks that followed. 3 days later, Nagasaki burned the same way. The war ended, but humanity had crossed a line it could never uncross. For the first time, we held the power to erase ourselves, and we've lived under that shadow ever since. The ultimate invention didn't just end a war. It redefined what it means to survive. And maybe that's the real lesson. Progress without conscience always comes with a cost. We started with good intentions and ended with graves, lawsuits, and mushroom clouds. Every one of these inventions was meant to help, protect, or heal. But progress is never just about what we can do. It's about what we should do. So tell me, which of these stories shocked you the most? Or maybe, which one do you think was worth it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because sometimes the most dangerous inventions aren't made of steel or fire, but of ideas.